from multiple locations via the miracle of Skype. It's the LTN Hour. Let's talk NASCAR with your host, Todd Bailing. Co-host, Ed Kaluka. Featuring dangerous Dan Margetta and Brian Schmidt. LTN is a caller-driven program, and your participation is encouraged by calling 414-421-7901. That's 414-421-7901. Now, the creator and host of the fastest hour in radio, Todd Bailing.
And welcome to the program. Glad you could join us. We're a little bit giddy here. It's not just short track season for NASCAR as they go from Martinsville to Richmond today. It's also short track season beginning in the state of Wisconsin. And Dan Margetta and Brian Schmidt are both at the racetrack at Wisconsin Dells. It's Dells Raceway Park. Guys, it's turning out to be a pretty decent day for a race.
It really is. I mean, the sun's shining right now. Looks like a good day weather-wise. How about car count-wise? I mean, they got 46 super late models on the entry list here.
46?
46. And a pits full of Midwest trucks as well as 602 Outlaws as well. A pretty good day looking to shape up, hey?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, I mean, if anybody was here last October, it is 6 times better today than it was then. So anybody that was here in October, make sure you come on out today because this is a beautiful day. This is perfect. You're not going to sweat. You're not going to freeze.
And when you left, it was in the 30s?
Yeah, it did. But I live along the lakeshore, so that big pond cools everybody off. So
okay. Well,
much better when you get away.
It's supposed to hit about 60 at the Dells today. So seems like a real good day for the short track season to get underway. And what is the time for that, guys?
They're going to start practice here at 11 o'clock. Qualifying is at 12:30, and the first race is going to go green at 2 o'clock. So 3 divisions, 25-lap crate late model feature, 40-lap Midwest truck feature, and a 100-lap super late model feature with no brakes. So it should be a speedy show. They want to get her done before the sun is down. So perfect time to come on out.
Very good. Well, NASCAR's short track season continues. Today at Richmond, the qualifying, what do you call it anyway? Formula. How's that?
Metrics.
That's it. It has Martin Truex on the pole today, and coming off his win last week at Martinsville, first 2-time winner this year. And if you were going to tell me that one of the Toyotas was going to be first 2-time winner, I wouldn't have guessed Truex. I probably would have guessed a car that hasn't won a race yet. What's going on with Kyle Busch?
Makes him wonder. I mean, it's been a while. I think that no practice really hurts Kyle Busch. I think that's just. I think to get a feel for a car, he needs to have some laps in it, and to get on the same page with the crew and everything, I think you need to have some laps on it because he just drives. I don't think it's a thing you can put a setup to it, and that's my opinion of what I've seen. But look at Denny Hamlin as well too. I mean, statistically, he's probably the best car in the circuit right now, but can't close the deal and get the win. So. I really think the no practice in qualifying has really hurt a lot of guys that have the natural ability like Kyle Busch. Do you think so, Ed?
I don't know. I think I'm still waiting for the Haas cars to wake up.
Yeah, no kidding. It's amazing, isn't it? I mean,
terrible.
Just the 4-car. Come on, really? Right?
Kyle has struggled since this new format started. Since COVID hit, Kyle's got 1 win. If you think about it. You know, and he's struggled ever since they've got rid of practice, and I think that's his biggest bugaboo is he's a practice type of guy. He's a hands-on, you work through it, work on the car type of guy, and they just aren't getting that in the races. And I almost think until they get back to that format, he's going to continue to struggle.
I mean, think about it. These cars are set up with a computer setup right now, right? They're set up in a shop on a simulator. Here's what the computer tells me is fast. Now I'll go out there and drive it. I think he's one of the guys that's got an adapter set up to the driver and not a driver to the computer setup, and I think that's what's hurting.
Yeah. Kyle's a season advance guy.
You know, listening to him on the scanner is kind of like listening to Johnny's daughter. The skidder, the balance is on the racetrack. The splitter's on the racetrack, and it's the same with the 18 car. The splitter's on the racetrack. Every race he starts that way, and I don't know why those guys can't figure that out.
It's not just air pressure, I guess, huh?
No, not for everybody else.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it. race, we have coverage right here on the Big 920 starting at 1 o'clock this afternoon. The green flag will fly at about 2:15. There is a 20% chance of rain. It will be televised today on Fox 6. Woo! So it's going to be live on the big network. You can have rabbit ears and watch the race today. How about that? And, of course, always be able to listen to it here on the Big 920. They raced yesterday, the trucks. I think it's anytime Kyle Busch is in a truck race, you just automatically assume he's the guy to beat. And for the second time, John Hunter Nemechek, who, oh, by the way, just happens to drive for Kyle Busch, beat the boss for the second time yesterday. A couple of notables in that one. Not only did Nemechek win it, Johnny Sauter had his best finish of the year after what they do. They skipped the last pit stop, Ed?
Well, they had an early pit stop for the problems I just lead it up to about splitters and not being able to turn in the middle. And I mean, they made 4 pit stops for not turning in the middle, and Joe never did fix it. So finally, they just said, stay out. Everybody pitted. He ended up on the front row. He went back to 5th. He ended up 4th. So he was a recipient. And even he said that on the radio. We didn't deserve this finish.
Well, who did deserve the finish was Sam Mayer, who finished 9th. You think, well, that's all right. You just don't understand. He started last, and Brian, apparently that truck wasn't exactly one of your front runners.
No, that's not a front running truck. So I mean, he made he made lemonade out of lemons there.
Yeah, and it was another Chevy truck, but there was a little bit of technical help from GMS because it was a Chevy, and he's Sam being a Chevy driver. It wasn't a full blown GMS truck. It was kind of just some help that way. So the truck really wasn't one of your top notch rides. And I thought him finishing starting 40th. I figured, he pulls a top 15 on this, all right. But a top 10 is pretty spectacular in equipment that's kind of so-so.
I can't wait to see what he does in the future because that kid can do anything with anything,
Every time you look at him, he's going forward too. Isn't that just an amazing thing to say about somebody? He started last, and every single time you'd look at the lineup, he was ahead of where he was the lap before. It was really an amazing run. So, congratulations to Sam Mayer yesterday. This race at Richmond. First of all, I love this track. I've never been to it for a race. I've seen it from the outside, but never been inside. It's a perfect size. It's wide. It's 3/4 of a mile. It's a beautiful layout, and yet some guys have problems at this track, and some guys are real good here. Kyle Busch is one of the guys who's always good here, right, Dan?
He has, yeah. I'm one of the guys that has got a decent record here. It's got a unique kind of shape. You got to dive into turn number 1, and the backstretch is kind of curved. I mean, to keep your momentum up, it's a different line you got to take. You want to be on the inside, I think, going into turn 1. But if you're too far on the inside, the outside guy has a chance to pinch that inside guy down and kind of break the momentum to make it work sometimes. It's a pretty neat deal. This track's been here when they reconfigured 88, 89, I think, around there.
Yeah.
Remember the old
ground? I
still
think of that other track, that .542, Dan.
Remember that with the steel guardrails?
Yeah.
The one
dangerous
where
as hell.
Earnhardt sent Waltrip into the guardrail really, really hard at the end of that one spring race. Yeah.
That was Kyle Petty's first win.
Yes, exactly.
It was Joe Ruttman's chance to win a race, and he spun out when he went by it. He was running 3rd at the time, and Kyle Petty was 5th, and he won that race.
How in the hell do you remember all that, Dan?
How could you forget a finish like that? The top 4 guys all wrecked.
We're talking 1980s.
86.
86.
86. Wow. This show was 1 year old at that time. Imagine. But they've turned out some pretty damn good racing since they reconfigured the track. This was Sawyer's track. He was the guy in charge of the track, and it sits on state fairground land, correct?
It was. I don't believe the fairgrounds are there anymore. And Bill Sawyer, after he sold that, he took his money and built a big dirt track in Jamaica, Virginia, which we're going to talk about later. So he's still in the business, but I don't believe the fairgrounds are there anymore.
Wow, that's pretty impressive, though, that this track got built at that venue, and the racing has been outstanding ever since. If you'd like to participate in the program, my goodness, we'd love to hear from you. You can call us at 414-421-7901. We're going to take a little break and be back on the Big 920.
It's a red, white, and blue weekend of family fun as Road America hosts the NASCAR Cup Series July 1st through the 4th in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. 4 huge days of stock cars featuring the NASCAR Cup, Henry 180 Xfinity, and Trans Am Series. Camp on site and catch every lap. Enjoy fan activities including autograph sessions and free family fun zone. And free admission for youth 16 and under. Get your printed home tickets today before they sell out at roadamerica.com. That's roadamerica.com. Come for the experience, stay for the race. Road America, your national park of speed.
From racing engines to street engines, long blocks to turnkey packages, or complete custom engines, just ask and Wagner Automotive can fill your needs. All backed by many years of racing experience. These years of experience have provided reliability and performance that customers need to win races. Wagner's has been building championship winning engines for top teams from NASCAR to short tracks in your backyard. This expertise has carried over to street engines they supply to top custom car builders. The Wagner Company in the heart of Wisconsin is outfitted with the state-of-the-art machinery necessary to design, manufacture, build, and test custom engines and their accessory parts. Dyno services are independently available for anyone needed to test their engine. Wagner's Company can also provide you or your company with production CNC machining or welding services. All your questions and requests are handled personally by Casey Wagner. Just give us a call at 920-394-3557 or visit our website at wagnerautomotive.com. Spring is in the air, and PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need, with fresh mulch arriving daily, from premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to Enviro mulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800 or visit pmflandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years, PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
The NASCAR Cup Series.
Waving the green flag, and we are underway. Kevin Harvick's going to get away.
Returns to the Commonwealth of Virginia.
Team Penske teammates getting at it hot and heavy for the number 1 spot.
Richmond Raceway.
All he has to do is get through turns 3 and 4, back on the accelerator cleanly, and the checkered flag is in the air. Brad Keselowski wins the Richmond Raceway.
It's the Toyota Owners 400.
Coverage starts at 1 o'clock today on Milwaukee's home for NASCAR, the Big 920.
And welcome back to the program. Glad you joined us. Dan, last week we had the first 40-some laps were done on Saturday night, and then it rained. And then the race finished on Sunday with Truex winning. Before the race was rained out, there was a little fight between back markers. Cody Ware and James Davison got together, and there were some problems. There was some fighting. There were some things said, and it didn't end Saturday night. I guess they continued it on Sunday.
It seems like, if you look at social media reports or the radio transmissions from that race, Cody Ware is Rick Ware's son, and Rick Ware owns the team. He owns 4 cars. Apparently, he had a problem with Davison during the race because he went after him a couple times during that, and there was some pretty strong words back and forth on the radio. Between both camps, so much I think Rick had to get on the radio and tell his kid to kind of cool it, or they're going to park him because we can't have this. It's right, and I'm not sure what that all stemmed from or what. I mean, Davison was pretty ticked off, and he said some pretty disparaging things about Rick's kid on the radio. So
it's certainly not because one car is so much faster than the other, because they're all equally crappy, you know.
Yeah. Back marker drama. I mean, come on. How often do we hear all this from back markers?
And this Cody Ware, I mean, if you're going to carry stuff grudges overnight like that and have that happen, he's set to drive for the Indy 500 this year. You know, that's
Indy.
Yes, that's a lot of high speed and we can't have that there when you're going that fast at Indy.
Is Davison going to have an Indy ride also, or no?
He did in the past, but not this year. He's skipping Indy to focus on the NASCAR stuff.
Really? Don't focus on being a back marker.
So they have an open wheel background.
Yeah.
Rick Ware's been in a bunch of things. I mean, they have a sports car team that actually did quite well, I think, overseas.
Yeah, the only series that he really struggles in is NASCAR. He's pretty successful, you know, in every other division that he tries. So
I meant the two of them having a background in open wheel.
Cody Ware.
And Cody's he's driven the sports car stuff mostly. Davison has an IndyCar background. He's had a couple Indy 500 starts and run pretty well. They're not bad.
You know, Brian, you say he's been successful in every other division he's raced. Well, probably not a back marker in all those other divisions like he is in for a Cup.
Correct. Yeah, correct. I mean, in IndyCar's platform, pretty much from top to bottom there, except the AJ Foyt cars, you're all pretty much have a shot at competing and winning a race. But, you know, I don't know. It's surprising that you can be successful in that stuff and be just so out to lunch in the Cup Series stuff is the funny part.
Speaking of that 15 car next week at Talladega, that 15 car is going to have a different driver, and it's not going to be James Davison. He isn't set for a full schedule. He's got so many races. So we have speaking of guys, people going out and taking people out in the races. How about Jennifer Jo Cobb? She's going to drive that truck or that car at Talladega.
Jennifer Jo,
my heart.
What do you call her, Dan?
Jennifer Jo Jamcar.
Jennifer Jo Jamcar. They call her Jen Jo now. So good for her. She's finally going. She's not a spring chicken anymore, is she?
Oh no, she's in her 47 years old. Yeah.
Well, remind me, Dan. Didn't she win the Snowball Derby one time?
No. You're thinking of Joanna Long.
Johanna Long. I mixed.
She drove trucks too. Remember, she had that burn rubber number 7 truck or something.
Yeah.
I mean, that's right. A perfect example of how sad it is that money can buy you the ride. That's terrible.
And you know, Ed, it's terrible as it is. And we say it's terrible, and you're right 100%. And yet, what can be done to change this system? Not a hell of a lot right now. Well, I mean, we're going to have to figure out if it's such a bad system, and it doesn't seem to be doing ourselves any favors. What are we going to do to change it? Anyone?
There's nothing you could do. I mean, she's been in NASCAR for years. I mean, probably decades. She's been around, so. It's not like she doesn't have any quote unquote experience. I mean, she's got it. She's had her license for years. So, I mean, but we all know she's just not real good at it. And
I remember in the past that there was a drivers council of 10 drivers that would say it's okay for this guy to race with us. They couldn't just come in. You had to be approved by those guys.
Boy, you can't. They did away with that, Ed, because you can't do that, or we'd have half fields right now.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
and what do you use as your matrix to decide who is and who isn't good? Yeah. That's another thing. I don't know how you fix the system. I really don't. Other than the really young kids, there you can put age limits on. But then here's an example where we have an age limit. But I bet you if you put Sam Mayer in a Cup car, he runs circles around someone like Jennifer Jo Cobb, but he's not eligible yet.
Yeah. Well,
speaking of Jennifer Jo Cobb, I way back I was at Homestead. She drove a Ford truck, and I went outside into the Ford fan experience where they had drivers there, and she happened to be up there doing her bit, and so I listened to it. And somebody asked her, "Is what time nobody liked Kyle Busch? He was like the hated guy because he won all the time." And somebody asked her a question about Kyle Busch, and she literally said that. She said, "Well, sometimes when he comes up to lap me, I just get in his way." I'm like, you got to be kidding me! I can't believe I heard that. If I was him, I'd put you in the fence.
Oh man, yeah, that's. Well, you know what? It comes with experience that sometimes it's better just to keep your mouth shut. Yeah, I'm sure everybody loves her.
Appear stupid before you open your mouth and reveal all doubt.
Yeah, there you go. there you go. In a heartbeat. Well, it took till she's 47 years old before she finally gets a ride in a Cup car.
Before she saved up enough money.
Yeah.
Or enough physical activity to get it.
Remember, Joey Logano is a perfect case of the same exact thing. His daddy bought him rides from the time he was a little kid and moved from Connecticut down to Alpharetta, Georgia, and took a better ride down there and kept improving the kid until he's as good as they're. Boy, my lips don't even want to say that. He's as good a driver as we have right now, and he came up the exact same way we're talking about. But talent is not the top of the list. It's opportunities created by money, and just so happens that he's so good. So it's a weird we are in a very weird time, and there aren't any real ways around it right now. We're just going to have to put up with it until we evolve into a new system. What will that system be, and when will it get here? We'll be back.
Are you ready for a good time? Then mark your calendar for Sunday afternoon, April 18th at Dell's Raceway Park for the Alive for 5 Series 7th Annual Icebreaker 100. See the Midwest best super late model drivers from 5 states going door to door in heart-pounding racing action for $5,000 to win. Plus the Midwest Truck Series and UMA 602 late models will be on hand. Fan gates open at 11, time trials at 12:30, and racing action at 2. Adults are just $20, senior students and military $15, and little race fans 12 and under are always free at Dell's Raceway Park.
Miller Sales and Service is the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer for customer service and satisfaction. Serving the area since 1939, Miller's is located on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. As the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer, Miller's has all kinds of Bravo trailers from 8 feet to 48 feet in stock. They also have a selection of B&B utility and dump trailers, reliable and Chilton open aluminum and steel trailers. With over 50 pre-owned low-mileage cars, trucks, and SUVs, Miller's has just the vehicle you are looking for. Miller's also carries a full line of Alumacraft boats and Manitou pontoon boats, complete with Evinrude outboards. Why not buy from racers who know what racers want and need? With Miller's Sales and Service on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. Call Jerry, Tom, or Brad Miller today at 920-994-4358. That's Miller's Sales and Service, 920-994-4358.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit bonafidesafe.com.
Short track racing is over, and next week we are headed to Talladega Superspeedway.
I think the one thing that's always been part of it, I guess, is the unknowns and the opportunities for things to happen that you necessarily don't want to be a part of, and that's just kind of the nature of the beast.
Hi, I'm Mike Backley. Join us for NASCAR Live.
Follows Jim Trado and Racing Roundup Tuesday night starting at 6 on Milwaukee's home for NASCAR, the Big 920 and Big920.com.
Welcome back to LTN. Dan Margetta and Brian Schmidt are up in the scoring tower at Dell's Raceway Park. You guys must be able to see the drivers' meeting going on over there right now, huh?
Yes, it is over in turn 2 in the bleachers.
As soon as this program is over, they will begin hot laps at 11 o'clock. So
they'll be able to give us a blow by blow on the Hangover Show.
There you go. Tell us who's doing well. They had 46 super lates show up, 2602 super lates, and 20 and 26 trucks for 92 cars for 3 different divisions. Pretty amazing. People are just itching to get out and race at the end of winter, and here we are getting ready at Dell's Raceway Park. Slinger Speedway's opener, by the way, is a week from today. Go ahead, Brian.
We've had actually a pretty nice spring. It's been chilly the last week, but I mean, 2 weeks ago it was 80 degrees here, so the grass is green. I mean, I've cut my lawn twice already. So the weather is actually a lot nicer than it normally is for April around here. Now, don't look at Tuesday's forecast in the state of Wisconsin, but other than that, it's been really nice. And I think that really jumpstarts people and get them ready to get out here.
Hey, Dan, do they have any crowd limitations today?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, I haven't seen anything.
Outstanding.
So that's good, yeah. As I said, you mentioned next week. This week we're here at the Dells. Next week I'll be doing a show at Slinger for their opener. So 2 weeks on the road.
Big 8 Series comes to Slinger Speedway next week to headline it, and we got to keep our fingers crossed that the decent weather continues. That's for sure. When Dale Earnhardt Jr. became involved with the ownership side of our sport, it seemed to me at the time that being an Xfinity owner was not going to cut it in the big picture. He also owns late models, I guess, doesn't he, Dan?
Yeah, the late model stock stuff that runs in primarily North Carolina, South Carolina area.
That's where the driver from the 8 car came from.
Yeah,
Correct.
Josh Berry. Yeah, he was one of those guys.
Sam Mayer drove for his late model stock team as well.
Ah, very good. Good stepping stone. Well, then of course, he's got this pretty darn good Xfinity team, and you had to ask yourself, isn't there a long-term prospect of him becoming a Cup owner? And I see the subject came up recently. I would think, and it makes a lot of sense, that it would be a satellite of Hendrick all day long. Wouldn't you think, Ed?
It is now.
It is now. So why wouldn't it continue with a Cup Series team? But it's going to be the same thing. You're going to have to bring money to enough money to get a team started over there on the Cup side. But you think that there's some kind of an attraction with Dale Earnhardt Jr. as an owner too, wouldn't you?
Well,
Definitely.
you would think, right? I mean, you'd think, and he didn't definitely say he's going to do it. I think he just said it's a possibility. I mean, he's been pretty smart with his whole race team stuff. He doesn't just do things just to do it. I mean, it's got to make financial sense for him to do things as well. So I think he's smart that way. And if you had a package together, you had a decent car, and you had a sponsor, and you had the manufacturer support, I could see it being a satellite thing of Hendrick. But everything's got to be in place before you even decide to do it.
And I think the conversation came up because of the new car, right, Ed? I mean, the fact that the new car is going to be a more affordable piece for these guys to do it, I think that's what brought the idea upon him.
And the secret to that whole success is his sister. I mean, she runs that place with an iron fist. She just doesn't get enough credit for what she does.
Of all the things that Dale Jr. has been involved with since, it wasn't just racing. He's been involved in things over the years other than driving. I think his that telecast, that broadcast that he does, that is quality stuff. They really get owners, drivers, people involved in the sport, and sit them down and look at things a little differently than your typical interview show. I just think that that's outstanding. He's really done a lot for our sport ever since he's become involved. Don't you guys think?
Yeah, that Dale Jr. download is great to listen to, and they have people. The interviews are great because he's a racer. He's not a TV guy. He's a racer first. He's a TV guy now second. And I think when you get racers in an interview like that, and they're talking to somebody they know isn't a fellow racer and not just a TV guy, they're not sure how much they know about the sport, but Dale Jr. knows how things happen. He knows how they want, and you can be more open and honest in your answers. And I think his questions are that way as well. I mean, he was there. He knows a lot of the stuff. They're all live part of the same deal, and it just gets better interviews, I think, that way.
I'd argue when it's all said and done, he's going to end up being he'll be known more for his media than his actual driving career. I think his media side of it is that good, and he does that good of a job with it.
Remember that time he had James Finch on his show?
That was awesome. That was one of the best ones.
One of the best ones I've ever heard.
The one he had a couple weeks ago with Dick Bergeron was outstanding. And how he gets those people to talk about their beginnings and how they started in the sport. It was just great. To listen to Dick Bergeron tell his story was fantastic.
A lot of it is just having the being the racer part of the knowledge in that, because you're more comfortable. When you're in a comfortable setting, it's like you're sitting at a bar talking to each other, and we bring up stories and that. As long as you're not thinking you're on a podcast or on the radio or tons of people are listening, it just holds up better. But a lot of it is the comfort between the interview and the interviewee.
Yep. And those are abbreviated. The ones you see on NBC are like abbreviated. If you actually go to his website, his Dirty Mo Media website, you can listen to the entire one. I think it was maybe a year ago or so he had John Force on there. That is one of the all-time classics of all of his ever.
Dale Force is a good interview no matter what they
It was an hour and 47 minutes. I mean, they chopped it up to make it so that they could put it on NBC. But if you want to listen to the uncut version, that is an hour and 47 minutes, and a lot of it isn't made for TV. It is that good.
And
it's the best one he ever did.
How would you find it exactly?
Dirty Mo Media is the website that he has. Like Google Dirty Mo Media, and they'll pop up there, and it has all the episodes listed. And got to set aside some time though, or put it in when you're taking a walk or something like that, because it's just audio. It's not a visual thing.
And highly recommended by LTN.
If you fly to Vegas, it's a 4-hour flight. Download some of those and listen to those. That's what I do.
Yep.
On your way to Vegas. It's perfect, and no doubt. There's a few cars going to the back today. Most of them start in the back anyway. Daniel Suarez goes to the back. I think the biggest name would be Reddick. He's one of the 5 that's going to the back. LaJoy, Haley, Davison. Most of them are in the back anyway. But Reddick, I was expecting more out of him so far this year. Maybe Brian didn't. I mean, we all did, I think, expect more after what a season he had last year. But he's hit a wall. But he's not the only one that's hit a wall. There's a lot of drivers there.
It could just be the sophomore slump, they call it. I don't know.
Yeah, no kidding. Another one that may be in that list we'll talk about when we come back.
It's a red, white, and blue weekend of family fun as Road America hosts the NASCAR Cup Series July 1st through the 4th in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. 4 huge days of stock cars featuring the NASCAR Cup, Henry 180 Xfinity, and Trans Am Series. Camp on site and catch every lap. Enjoy fan activities including autograph sessions and free family fun zone. And free admission for youth 16 and under. Get your printed home tickets today before they sell out at roadamerica.com. That's roadamerica.com. Come for the experience, stay for the race. Road America, your national park of speed.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit bonafidesafe.com.
The NASCAR Cup Series.
Waving the green flag, and we are underway. Kevin Harvick's going to get away.
Returns to the Commonwealth of Virginia.
Team Penske teammates getting at it hot and heavy for the #1 spot.
Richmond Raceway.
All he has to do is get through turns 3 and 4, back on the accelerator cleanly, and the checkered flag is in the air. Brad Keselowski wins the Richmond Raceway.
It's the Toyota Owners 400.
Coverage starts at 1 o'clock today on Milwaukee's home for NASCAR, the Big 920.
Well, I'm sure that we are not the only ones to have noticed that Kevin Harvick is just not himself these days. Ed, we expect a lot out of Harvick because he's raced at such a high level for so long, but all of a sudden he's in the toilet. What's going on with that car?
It seems like when they came out with that new template rule with the rear wheel well area, it seems to have affected those guys really a lot.
Yeah, if you look at teams that Stewart Haas is all as a whole right now is kind of behind a little bit, and they have to do some work to catch up. And I agree, Ed. I think that's the change that they have made. And not knowing for sure, but you just kind of put 2 and 2 together. Okay, they made this change. Suddenly these guys aren't where they were before. Maybe that's what they got to adapt to.
Seems like a small change to have them look this bad, though, doesn't it?
Small changes is all it takes.
Yeah, it doesn't take much. I mean, you got to feel for Chase Briscoe, who was so dominant last year in the Xfinity Series, and his name was out there. And I mean, you have to really dig to find his name at all these days, and he's just struggled mightily.
I mean, it's so close that the smallest thing makes such a huge difference. I mean, it's picking up a sticker on a car. We experienced that years ago. You know, just moving a little sticker on a car makes a big deal and stuff. So I mean, it's little things like that you'd never think would make have an advantage or a disadvantage, and that's what it is. That's how tight it is.
Oh, no kidding. All right. Well, here's an important question. Now, let's see. Harvick is in his early 40s, correct?
I believe 43, I think.
43. Okay. He is having a down year, and next year we're going to a new car. Ed, I think the question is, do you think Harvick is going to say, the hell with it, I'm going to retire after this year?
I don't think so. I think it's a window of opportunity.
Especially if they bring some semblance of practice and qualifying back. I think that's what a lot of these guys are looking for, you know. If then they can get out there and work on their stuff and massage it and see what you're going to get. Right now, it's just kind of a crapshoot, and the old school guys that are stuck with the simulating thing like we talked about before are the ones that are struggling the most.
Yeah, if they had the opportunity to go out and test these things, it would be a lot different playing field than it is right now for a lot of people.
I just looked it up. He's 45. He'll be 46 in December. At this age, you know, guys seem like they're perfectly able to continue racing, and yet sometimes they find themselves being replaced not to their own wishes.
Yeah, a lot of that comes to do with your analytical people too. If you pay a lot of attention to analytics, that's just life. As you get older, you regress a little bit, and sometimes that comes into play. And if it depends on what you buy into. Do you buy into the analytics, or do you buy into the reality stuff?
I remember the great Buddy Baker, Hall of Famer, who said about young drivers at the time. Now, this is from a guy who raced for 50 years and had 19 wins. He said, I don't know about you, but when I'm getting in an airplane, I like to see a little gray hair on the pilot.
A lot of truth to that.
Buddy Baker. Yeah. He's the guy that let you use his parking spot at Charlotte, right?
Yeah, let me, all right. Good morning, Mr. Baker. I'm looking around. Who? And yet, it's turned into such a young man's sport. Here we are talking about Sam Mayer, who we're looking at our watch, waiting for the kid to turn 18 so he can come in, and he already has won a truck race. It's just changed over the years to such a point where Mayer is going to find himself attracting the sponsorship it takes to move on to Cup. I don't think it's going to take too long. Do you guys?
I don't think it'll take him long at all, but it comes to mind about the guys who stuck around just a year or two too long, like Darrell Waltrip and Jimmy Johnson and even Richard Petty, who stayed just a little bit too long.
Well, and that kind of leads me back to Kevin Harvick. I think it's awfully quick for him to have lost it because he looked so great last year all year long. And this year you're going, Kevin who? What's going on?
They're running top 15. Is that really losing it? I mean, it's just a step back from what you're used to. They're not, he's not running 30th every week.
No, I mean, he's in the points. He'll make the playoffs. But you got to say to yourself, between now and the playoffs, they're going to have to figure something out.
How many wins did he have last year?
9?
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah.
Well, look at the 9 car last year. The 9 car started out not on anyone's radar, and then at the end just came on like gangbusters and won the championship. So
yeah, and Kevin Harvick's still scratching his head about that one too. Just amazing. Ed, my thought is to stick around at his age now, when we're going to an all new car and learning the system from scratch, basically. I don't think he's going to stick around. And there's another guy that would be a good announcer.
I just think it's going to be an opportunity because of the level playing field when it comes to these cars and getting them dialed in. So I think the new car is going to be a lot more forgiving than the one they're driving now.
That's a really good way to look at it. Like, I look at it where some of these guys who we may consider to be back markers right now might just suddenly find themselves running up front more often.
Exactly.
Is that possible?
Yes.
Talented drivers are talented drivers. It's a little bit like Sam Mayer in a truck that isn't capable of doing anything and starting last. And you think to yourself, how good can this truck be? And having them finish 9th, Well,
the thing of it is, Todd, there won't be any old equipment out there. I mean, you're going to have all brand new cars with all brand new things on them. And there's going to be the back markers are going to be on a pretty level playing field when they drop the green flag for the first time.
It's probably why we're having, so many people investing in our sport. I would think there'd be more than, like, for instance, today we only have 38 cars in the field. Why are we not turning cars away every week? Why aren't, well, of course we don't qualify and they wouldn't even show up, but don't you think we would want to have full fields as we're getting ready to do this maybe we will next year, right?
And maybe with the new car coming out. I mean, look at, we had two new teams this year. Speaking of new teams, that 99 car, I mean, it's Suarez. He's going to the back today, but he's had 2 good runs now the last 2 weeks. I mean, that of the new teams out there, they're leading the pack, I think, as far as so far early on, with decent runs and seen a lot of progress.
And there's one that could just show up next year and all of a sudden be running up front, and we scratch our head and say,
well, I look at the blueprint for, like, say, Formula One. You have 20 cars, you have 10 teams, and away with the future on a high buck thing like this, I think we're going to end up with like a permanent field of 30 cars with owners that are deeply embedded in this series, and you just won't be able to come in.
Wow.
I don't know how healthy that is, though. I mean,
I think it's very healthy. I think it's going to be a wave of the future.
Oh, it's a strange times we're living in right now, folks. And it's only getting weirder. We'll be right back.
Miller Sales and Service is the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer for customer service and satisfaction. Serving the area since 1939, Miller's is located on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. As the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer, Miller's has all kinds of Bravo trailers from 8 feet to 48 feet in stock. They also have a selection of B&B utility and dump trailers, reliable and Chilton open aluminum and steel trailers. With over 50 pre-owned low-mileage cars, trucks, and SUVs, Miller's has just the vehicle you are looking for. Miller's also carries a full line of Alumacraft boats and Manitou pontoon boats, complete with Evinrude outboards. Why not buy from racers who know what racers want and need? With Miller's Sales and Service on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. Call Jerry, Tom, or Brad Miller today at 920-994-4358. That's Miller's Sales and Service, 920-994-4358.
Are you ready for a good time? Then mark your calendar for Sunday afternoon, April 18th at Dell's Raceway Park for the Alive for 5 Series 7th Annual Icebreaker 100. See the Midwest best super late model drivers from 5 states going door to door in heart-pounding racing action for $5,000 to win. Plus the Midwest Truck Series and UMA 602 late models will be on hand. Fan gates open at 11, time trials at 12:30, and racing action at 2. Adults are just $20, senior students and military $15, and little race fans 12 and under are always free at Dell's Raceway Park.
Spring is in the air, and PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need, with fresh mulch arriving daily, from premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to Enviro mulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800 or visit pmflandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years. PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
Short track racing is over, and next week we are headed to Talladega Superspeedway.
I think the one thing that's always been part of it, I guess, is the unknowns and the opportunities for things to happen that you necessarily don't want to be a part of, and that's just kind of the nature of the beast.
Hi, I'm Mike Backley. Join us for NASCAR Live.
Follows Jim Trado and Racing Roundup Tuesday night starting at 6 on Milwaukee's home for NASCAR, the Big 920 and Big920.com.
Welcome back to the program. Glad you could join us. Brian and Dan are at Dell's Raceway Park, where the pavement short track series is getting going today. You'd say to yourself, it's kind of early to do this. Well, the Dell's has done this 7 years now, try to be the first and the last every year. And for the most part, the weather has cooperated. As we know, it isn't always an easy thing to do. But Brian, I tell you what, why don't we do some results from the world of dirt track racing right now, and then perhaps we'll do an interview or two after this.
Okay, yep, we'll get going here. We'll start Thursday night in Jamaica, Virginia at the Virginia Motor Speedway. That is Bill Sawyer's track, the guy who used to own Richmond Raceway back in the day. The All-Star Circuit of Champions 410 sprint cars were there. It was a feature of attrition, and when it was all said and done, the man who preserved his tires the most was Tony Stewart. It's been a while since he's won a sprint car race. He was a pretty happy camper after picking up that one. Bill Balog was running in the top 5. He had a failure and did not finish the race. Davenport, Iowa, Thursday night, the Lucas Oil MLRA was there, 5,000 to win. That went to the ageless wonder, Billy Moyer. And then the IMCA Modifieds that went to Spencer Dirk. Middleborough, West Virginia at the Tyler County Speedway, the Castrol Flow Racing Night in America, an inaugural 10-race series of late models, 10,000 to win. The feature winner was Jonathan Davenport. Tyler Erb was second. Kyle Larson, never seen the place before, ever. The Little Bull Ring, he finished third. Friday night, Gravity Park in Chilton, Wisconsin opened up their season. In the Modifieds, it was Tyler Wilson. Grand Nationals, Aaron Streblo, and the stock cars was Stephen Wirtz. New Richmond, Wisconsin, the Cedar Lake Speedway, the season opener. They had one earlier this year, but they call this one the official season opener. A 2-day special. For the Super Lates, James Yossi was your winner. The Modifieds were Alex Williamson. West Burlington, Iowa, 34 Raceway, the Lucas Oil MLRA, 5,000 win there. That went to Brian Shirley. Bloomington, Indiana, the USAC 410 non-wing sprints, Kevin Thomas Jr. was your winner Friday night. And in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, the Williams Grove Raceway for the All-Star Circuit of Champion 410 sprints, Kyle Larson made his debut. The first wing sprint car race he ran this year was there, and he won it, going away without much of a problem. The guy is talented. Last night, Beaver Dam opened up their season with the MSA 360 sprints. Ben Schmidt picked up the win there. Francis Crick, Wisconsin, the 141 Speedway, they had 194 cars in 6 divisions. The program was done before 10 o'clock. Then the IMSA Modifieds, it was Benji Lacrosse. The Grand Nationals, our buddy Josh Pierce, who's a good friend of ours, listener to the program, he picked up the Grand National win. IMSA Stock Cars went to Nick Strobe. Shawano opened up last night with the Dirt Kings Late Model Series. And usually when you're at Shawano, Nick Anvilink starts in front, Nick Anvilink wins, and that's exactly what happened. Nick Anvilink picked up the Dirt Kings win. In the IMCA Modifieds, it was Mike Mullen, and the stock cars was Jeremy Christians. Night number 2 at Cedar Lake for their season opener, and the late models was Jimmy Mars, and the Modifieds was Alex Williamson again. Knoxville, Iowa opened up their season last night, and with the World of Outlaws events raining out this weekend, a lot of the World of Outlaw guys showed up. Sheldon Houdenchild didn't qualify real well, didn't have a good heat race, had to start 14th in a 20-lap feature at Knoxville, and made a last lap pass of Gio Selzy to pick up the win. That's pretty spectacular. Scotty Thiel from nearby Sheboygan made the trip down there. He finished 19th. In the 360 sprint cars, Jamie Bell was your winner. Hobstadt, Indiana, the Tri-State Speedway for the USAC 410 non-wing sprints, Kyle Cummins was your winner. Port Royal, Pennsylvania, the All-Star Circuit of Champions was there. 10,000 win went to Logan Wagner. In West Burlington, Iowa, at the 34 Raceway, it was the Brett Slocum Memorial 50 for the Lucas Oil MLRA, 10,000 win. That went to California's Jason Papich, a guy who's been running for years, and he this is his first feature win. And finally, in Hagerstown, Maryland, the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series, 15,000 win. Tim McCready made a last lap pass of Ricky Thornton Jr. to pick up the win there last night. And that is everything we have. And we have a guest here now.
Oh, outstanding. It's a promoter time on the program. The last 2 owners of Dells Raceway Park have been from the flat state of Illinois. And for the first time, let me think, since probably the early 2000s, we have an owner from Wisconsin. Jerry Albee, former racer, is the new owner and promoter at Dells Raceway Park. He's been promoting it the last couple of years, but just took ownership at the end of March. And Jerry, nice of you to join us. What a car count. You got to be thrilled beyond thrilled.
Oh, Todd, I'm very blessed to have this type of car count. I think we're at 97 cars in the pit area this morning.
Oh, jeez.
And we would have been at 114, but we had some scratches and some cars just doing some testing yesterday. So our pits is full capacity with the big haulers we got, the double stackers and stuff. But yes, I'm overwhelmed by the support I've gotten from the racers.
We're talking on nearly 100 cars and only 3 divisions, including 46 super lates. That just blows me away. That's the best car count I think the state has had in a couple of years.
Yes, I'm pretty proud of that. We actually had over 50 yesterday. We had about 5 scratches, so that made room in the pits for some guys. But it's a phenomenal turnout, and I'm thrilled to death.
All right, now this is a pretty competitive race today with a pretty good payday to win, isn't it?
Well, I'm paying $5,000 to win, and then we've got a halfway bonus in memory of the late great Scott Olderman of $500 and $250 to the Fast Time Award winner. So, and the drivers I've come out with on the Live for 5 series for running all 5 races, they can get on the Winner Circle program, which is something the NASCAR used to do instead of charters. But don't get me going on charters. So,
yeah,
but
I understand.
I think I've got a good following of cars, and I think I've got the best racers in the Midwest here with us today.
I guess you do, and you're getting them from all over the place. I see Jesse Love was quick in practice yesterday in one of Wimmer's cars. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
he's from California, isn't he?
He's from California. He's taken the path of the Jeff Gordon route with midgets and sprint cars and quarter midgets and running some ARCA Menard Series races, and I believe he won some races out west. And he's a Toyota development driver, and he's racing super late models to get some more experience under his belt. And I just had a good conversation with him this morning, and I'm totally impressed with the young man. I mean, he says all the right things.
Story. How old is that kid?
16. I had to verify because he looked about 12. So.
Are you old enough to be in the pits, young man? Yeah, I'm old.
Well, you know, when me and you were going up through it, Todd, you had to be 16 to even walk in the gate with, you couldn't even get in. So
it's amazing how this sport has evolved. It's really amazing. And the fact that you are in charge of one of the top short tracks in the state right now, it's got to be a dream come true for Jerry Albee.
Yep, it's still a little surreal. It hasn't sunk in yet, but here we are. We're doing it. We, like you said in the pre-race, we were promoting the place for the last couple of years. I worked for Wayne Lansing for a decade as his competition director since early 2000s, and just kind of made the place one step at a time. We're getting there.
Well, the best of luck to you, Jerry, all season long, and especially today. Knock 'em dead, and let's have a great race.
Well, thank you, Todd, and I sure missed you. I hope you can come back to Wisconsin someday.
Yeah, one of these days I will. Thanks a lot.
Right,
Jerry Albee,
you.
the new track owner at Dells Raceway Park. We're going to sneak away and do a break, and maybe we just might have another promoter for you when we come back.
From racing engines to street engines, long blocks to turnkey packages, or complete custom engines, just ask and Wagner Automotive can fill your needs. All backed by many years of racing experience. These years of experience have provided reliability and performance that customers need to win races. Wagner's has been building championship winning engines for top teams from NASCAR to short tracks in your backyard. This expertise has carried over to street engines they supply to top custom car builders. The Wagner Company, in the heart of Wisconsin, is outfitted with the state-of-the-art machinery necessary to design, manufacture, build, and test custom engines and their accessory parts. Dyno services are independently available for anyone needed to test their engine. Wagner's Company can also provide you or your company with production CNC machining or welding services. All your questions and requests are handled personally by Casey Wagner. Just give us a call at 920-394-3557 or visit our website at WagnerAutomotive.com.
It's a red, white, and blue weekend of family fun as Road America hosts the NASCAR Cup Series July 1st through the 4th in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. 4 huge days of stock cars featuring the NASCAR Cup, Henry 180 Xfinity, and Trans Am Series. Camp on site and catch every lap. Enjoy fan activities including autograph sessions and free family fun zone. And free admission for youth 16 and under. Get your printed home tickets today before they sell out at RoadAmerica.com. That's RoadAmerica.com. Come for the experience, stay for the race. Road America, your national park of speed.
The NASCAR Cup Series.
Waving the green flag, and we are underway. Kevin Harvick's going to get away.
Returns to the Commonwealth of Virginia.
Team Penske teammates getting at it hot and heavy for the number 1 spot.
Richmond Raceway.
All he has to do is get through turns 3 and 4, back on the accelerator cleanly, and the checkered flag is in the air. Brad Keselowski wins the Richmond Raceway.
It's the Toyota Owners 400.
Coverage starts at 1 o'clock today on Milwaukee's home for NASCAR, the Big 920.
Yeah, 1 o'clock coverage, and of course the race gets the green flag at about 2:15. They do have a 20% chance of rain, but I'm not sure it's going to be a big factor today. Well, I have to, first of all, I have to make sure our next guest is lined up. Did I see it on here?
Yep.
Yes, it is. All right. My boss at Slinger Speedway, and a guy who's really coming leaps and bounds, really, in the world of promoters. Todd Thielen is joining us right now. And, of course, the season gets underway 1 week from today at Slinger Speedway with the Big 8 Series. Todd, a little different start to the season, but, boy, you got to be chomping at the bit to get going yourself.
Yeah, hey, thanks for having me on. We are actually driving up to the racetrack right now, just pulling in the driveway. And, yeah, we're chomping at the bit. We have practice today at noon to 4, Big 8 next Sunday afternoon, and, yeah, we can't wait to get going.
The cars that are practicing today, is that open to super lates also?
Everything from bandoleros to figure 8 cars and whatever's in between, super late, sportsmen's. The guy could even bring a modified or what. It's just open practice.
A person might say you had a pretty good off season with everything that's happened at Slinger Speedway. The track was named the number 1 short track event in the country. Plus, you got yourself a nationally televised SRX event. You must be living right, my friend.
Well, we're trying to. These days, you're only as good as the next event that comes up. But, yeah, it was a really good off season. The SRX event was a good shot in the arm. We've been selling a lot of tickets, and winning the event of the year, that I had no idea, and all of a sudden I get contacted that we're up for that, and when you look back at it, what we pulled off was pretty cool, and I think what put us on the map also last summer was just getting open. A lot of other racetracks couldn't get open, and I spent hours and weeks and days and months, literally probably a month and a half, getting the racetrack open. Yeah, being a politician.
Well, you did it. Now the SRX event there's no longer 25% capacity, correct?
Right now we are Washington. I'll say it this way: Washington County is now open for business, and we are not. How do I say it? We don't have any limits. We'll put it that way. The county is no longer going to tell businesses how they need to operate.
Well, best of luck to you next week as we get going. I'll see you very soon, my friend, and knock them dead, man. This is going to be a great season.
Yeah, we really are looking forward to it. And Super Late start May 16th, which is always what a lot of fans come to see at Slinger Speedway, and we should have a really good lineup of Super Lates this year, and just really looking forward to it. A lot of compared to last year, we all have a lot to look forward to this year.
All right. Todd, good luck, and we'll talk to you soon. Todd Thielen, the promoter at Slinger Speedway. We're going to give you a few results. There isn't very much to tell you in the world of results from paved track racing. They had the 44th annual Spring Classic yesterday at Rockford Speedway. The Big Eights that are going to race at Slinger next week raced at Rockford yesterday. Wisconsin's Dale Nottestad was your winner. The Mid-American cars raced, and Ron Vandermeer was your winner in that event. The only other news really comes out of Slinger, basically because of the SRX series. First of all, one of their drivers from the series, Mark Webber, is out. I don't know the reason for it. I don't think they gave a reason for it.
Yeah, he's from Australia, and it's hard to get here overseas now with the travel restrictions and everything not being fully open.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not a surprise. They have not named a replacement for Mark Webber yet, but they did announce the announcing team that's going to be coming with CBS and doing the entire SRX series. Alan Bestwick will be at the microphone. Lindsey Zarniak will be his assistant, and Brad Doherty will also be up in the booth. I don't know. There's room up there for a 7'1" announcer, but Brad Doherty will be at Slinger, and Matt Yoakum will be doing it. Now they have 3 guest analysts, James Hinchcliffe, Dario Franchitti, and Danica Patrick. They are going to rotate those drivers apparently, and we're not going to have Danica back in Packer country again. Dario Franchitti is going to be the pit analyst or something, but Franchitti will be the announcer that will be coming, and that was announced this week. All right, and do we need another break? I don't even know.
No. We on those results, I want to give a shout out to Nick Egan, finished second at Rockford yesterday. A good way to start his Big 8 season. And we want to thank Paul Reichert for the paved results for getting us those. Paul's on his way out here to the Dells. We'll catch up with him later today.
All right, outstanding. See, I'm not even sure how things are. Yeah, great. I'm glad you got it. I didn't realize Nick was second. How about that to start his season in that 13 car? Hey, thanks for tuning in. If you're not on your way to the Dells yet, it's not a bad day to go up there. And don't forget the season opener 1 week from today at the Slinger Speedway. We're back to racing season. How great is that? And, of course, as we want everybody to remember, real race cars have doors, even if they do climb in through the windows. Let's Talk NASCAR is produced and directed by Dangerous Dan Margetta. Our in-house engineer, website coordinator, and king of the knobs is Matt Hangover Losi. For all of us involved with the program, we appreciate you tuning in, and we'll see you next week, everybody.
This program has come to you live from multiple locations via Skype. Any and all comments expressed on this show do not necessarily express the opinions of this station, its employees, or advertisers. Your comments are always welcome at mail@ltnradionetwork.com. Find us at facebook.com/LTN Radio Network. And thank you for your support since 1985. Tune in again next Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Central Time for the LTN Hour on the LTN Radio Network.